What is up? I'm zmoT, and we are going to be doing War Factory today. I've already had a peek. War Factory looks to be quite difficult and interesting today, and the reason why it's difficult is zmo's make it so that we can't hack these shock launchers easily, also can't hack these rocket launchers easily. Now, you can do it, but it's going to cost extra GBE, and low levels don't tend to have extra GBE. Max levels can just go to the left and just run it over, not a big deal at all. But for low levels, I've been sitting here staring at it for a little bit. And if we go to the right-hand side, we're going to have to deal with rocket launchers and shock launchers. And then even after we do that, we're going to be stuck with these zmo's that are going to range that far side of the core. Also this Doom cannon. So I feel like even though going right is the typical way we would have done this, because of those zmo's, going right just does not work like we had hoped it would. So we almost have to do like a save the core kind of thing here. There's just so much going on, and zmo's definitely complicate that. So when Supercell introduced zmo's, I gotta say I applaud them. That troop was well thought out, well designed, great addition to the game. I hate it right now, but at the same time, great addition to the game. So what we're gonna do is I am gonna just full frontal this, I think. And by doing that, we can get rid of the rocket launchers. They don't have a ton of health. You'll notice they've got... So, actually, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a combo effort. We're going to send Everspark to the back with her universal remote. Sorry, just thinking on my feet here, even though I'm sitting down. Wow, just combination effort. We're going to add some rifles in there because rifles are going to be helpful because rifles are great at getting shot in the face. And if you have a different strategy for this, by all means, please do let me know. What we're going to do is, if you notice, these zmo's don't range the outside, the shock launchers don't range the outside, the rocket launchers don't range until after that crate. So we're just going to drop Everspark right here, and we're just going to hang out for a bit. While we're doing that, we're going to mark these rockets right in here. Now, I want to mark all of them, but that flamethrower I really don't want to mark. So we're going to go something like that. If you don't know what marking is, please let me know, because it is something that every single person needs to know about Boom Beach is marking. Now we're waiting for Everspark to get 12 critters though. We're also waiting for the critters to get rid of that one factory supply, so that they're going to stand in the way and shield Everspark as she walks by. Those zmo's are going to keep targeting the critters. Everspark's going to walk on by. She's likely out of their range anyways, but I just wanted to be super duper sure, because when Everspark dies, bad things happen. And now we're going to use one smoke to get her there, and then a second smoke to get her there. She should be able to get underneath there. Oh, that was so incredibly close. I do not recommend that you cut it that close at all. Now I am going to use an extra smoke here. I was really hoping to get her to do a double hack there, but, or just to do a Houdini hack, I should say. As you saw, likely that shock launcher just turned towards us, so double hacking is out of the question. I screwed up. So I just wasted 5 GBE. Actually, I just wasted 6 GBE, because now we've got to throw another smoke. Throwing it too early out of panic. I thought it was farther from the shore, so if you watch that timer, you just got to be super duper sure of when you throw that hack. And now we're going to flare this one, making sure we get that front rocket launcher. The front rocket launcher is critical, because we don't know if Everspark's going to live through this next one. Throwing that next smoke, there it goes, and now we need to flare there, because otherwise she's going to get walking. You'll notice that she started walking because that shock blaster hit her. That is a well-known, well-documented bug. So make sure if you get hit by a shock launcher or a shock blaster, she will just walk to whatever she's been flared to, so you need to stop her from doing that. Not bad so far. Next up, we're going to use our gunboat energy on those shock launchers, because we don't need our gunboat energy at all at this point. We're going to drop our rifles right here, and then we're going to drop our zookas. Now, when you're dropping your troops, make 1000% sure that whatever Everspark was hacking is dead, because if it's not dead, the troops are going to start walking back to that rocket launcher. So there's zero reason to rush this attack. Don't rush it. Just get your stuff started, get your troops out. Now, we are going to shade slightly to the right here. You'll notice that I dropped right in the corner. You're going to want to shade slightly to the right, and by doing that, you're going to avoid those mortars and those doom cannons and come more in range of the shock launchers. but we're going to retreat before we get anywhere near the shock launchers. So not using any gunboat energy on shocks. That is what our rifles are for. The only reason why we have rifles loaded is to get shot in the face. That is their only job. Go get shot in the face, buddy, and they will keep our zookas alive. And as our numbers of rifles start to get down, we have 8 of them right now. We are going to retreat in a couple seconds, just waiting for one more artillery, and now we're going to retreat right about now, getting our troops back on those boats, saving ourselves some diamonds. We've done some decent work. Typically, I will retreat without using troops, but today is not the day for that for low levels. Use your troops. Spend them all, for that matter. I mean, we only lost 18 zookas. You probably want to spend all of your troops because today is going to be a tough day to take down War Factory. Spent 1,000 diamonds yesterday on Dr. T. We're going to spend not that many, but we're going to spend quite a few today. Now that those rockets are gone, we can actually come to the right and get rid of those shock launchers. We are going to have to clear a whole lot of this stuff, folks. Probably should be using grenadiers at some point. Could use grenadiers to get those left-hand side shields, but we're just going to come up this left side. We have gotten those shock launchers down to a reasonable level, so we should be able to just use all of our gunboat energy on those and then come in with our troops and get rid of the zmo's. But we will find out momentarily. There's a whole lot of stuff going on here. Lots of moving parts. If you have any questions at all, I do respond to all of the comments. I had some comments yesterday that started in the middle of a conversation and did not make any sense. I promise I do try to read all of your comments. I try and make sense out of all of the comments. But if they don't, please let me know, because I don't know if there's language issues or someone just missed something, but on occasion I get messages that make zero sense, and I know it makes sense to you guys and you're not trying to be difficult, but there are times where it just doesn't make sense. So there's a lot going on. Please rephrase your comments and know that I'm not just trying to be a jerk. There's no advantage to me being a jerk, I promise. It's public. People go through comments. Being a jerk is not a good idea ever on the internet. I mean, unless that's your shtick, of course, but I try to be helpful at all times. So, yeah, yesterday was there was just one comment in specific. Like, someone just kept coming back and it did not make sense, and they kept persisting in the topic, and persisting in a topic when I'm asking for more info is frustrating. But anyways, we're going to keep pushing forwards. I'm vague booking here. If you don't know what vague booking is, it's when someone goes on like Facebook and says, oh, this is the worst day ever, and it's just begging you for more info. So I try to avoid that as well. Basically, the whole premise of this channel is I try to avoid doing things that annoy me. And so if you see me doing something that annoys you, please do let me know, because I try my best. I keep the number of ads to a minimum. I keep the number of weird stuff to a minimum, simply because the idea of doing something on my channel that annoys me on someone else's channel doesn't make any sense to me. So now that that rant is over, let's get our troops back here. Everspark is going to hack that because I should have had Critter Swarm loaded this entire time. And I think we can possibly just burn this core from that right-hand side. Getting into that, all those zmo's and those doom cannons and those mortars just doesn't really make a ton of sense to me at this point. So we're just going to keep pushing up this right-hand side, even though at the very outset of this video, I said pushing up that right-hand side was not the right option. So sometimes plans change, and I really don't see a better way to do this. Because Doom Cannons and zmo's are going to be a problem. Maybe I should have been using my gunboat energy on this Doom Cannon instead of on those shock launchers here and just walked into them, but lots and lots of weird things going on with this War Factory. This is probably the most difficult War Factory for low levels that I can remember, because we're just talking about all sorts of ridiculousness. Now, I should be retreating right now. Not retreating is absolutely, absolutely ridiculous at this point, because we don't even... I already said we're going to finish right about here. That Shock Blaster is not going to be in range. So at this point, we're just wasting diamonds is all it really comes down to. So now that that's done, let's spend 17 more diamonds. And it's going to be Critter Swarm at this point. Critter Swarm is going to be the only option we have for keeping all of this stuff alive. Let's get into it, see if we can burn through it. We've got 3 full attacks left. What we could do is just use all of our gunboat energy. Let's see how much health is on that. 47,000 health. You know what? Let's do that. I keep changing my mind. I keep changing my plans. Hopefully, this is all making sense to you guys, because getting rid of that Doom Cannon means that now our troops are going to die one at a time as opposed to all sorts at a time. We've got 2 attacks left. I'm going to retreat. Hopefully, retreating means that if you screwed up a little bit in your first 2 attacks, that retreat is going to get you to the point where you can catch up and we can finish this off together on our 4th attack. Maybe you finished it in 1. If you are HQ18 and you finished it in 1 or 2 attacks, please do let me know, because this seems like that is a good measuring stick. If you can finish this in 1 or 2 attacks, I'm going to be impressed as an HQ18 player. So we're going to move slightly lower to get out of that Shock Blaster's range. And now I'm going to shock that zmoT with that Hotpot and just hope that our Critter Swarm can keep some of our troops alive. I have not checked how much health is on that shield. Really probably should have. But as you can see, the shield is moving. We're getting good value out of those critters. The fact that that mortar is wrecking all sorts of our critters, I'm going to move my shock a little bit. That zmoT is only taking 1 critter at a time. So if we can move our shocks a little bit and get the Hotpot with a mortar and a zmoT, seems like we're doing fairly well. I didn't think we'd be able to finish from this right-hand side, but all of those rifles standing out front, critters also helping. And now that we popped the shields, I mean, I'm fairly impressed with that. I'm going to retreat in a second. You know what, I'm not going to retreat. We'll just finish this off on our 3rd attack. And I didn't think it'd be possible to finish from the right-hand side, but I was wrong. It happens all of the time. Down goes War Factory in 4 fairly easy attacks. There wasn't anything super difficult about that. You might have to boost some GBE to get all 3 of those rockets at the back. War Factory still does not give intel, sadly. The rewards did not look super awesome today. Let's have a look and see what the rewards were. Gearheart, we got some stone, some iron, some parts. We got a whole bunch of wood. Actually, that's not bad, but rewards not super duper awesome today for low levels. I'm going to pause, come back with a different account. We'll be back in just a second. Okay, we are back on a max level account. I'm going to go with all Bombardiers because why the heck not? We are going to drop in Bullet with Energy Drink because again, why the heck not? And then we are going to have a look at the War Factory right about there. War Factory has dropped. Quick little mini pause there. Hopefully you didn't catch it. We're just going to hit attack, and I'm going to hope that I did not make a mistake in choosing my troops. Should be able to just cruise up this left-hand side. Those rockets are going to be a bit of a pain, so we're going to get rid of those. But we do have the artillery tribe, so watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know, 5? Okay, we need a little bit more than 5, but not a ton of troops required. Or artillery or GBE required, I should say, simply because we do have the artillery tribe. Also, max level stuff, way better than low level stuff. Bullet is hopefully going to get out front in a second or 2, because otherwise that Doom Cannon, as you saw there, is doing a bit of damage on us. Now we're just going to kind of hang out for a while. Bullet is going to take a bunch of damage from those Doom Cannons, but our Bombardiers are just going to spread out super duper wide, going to keep some shocks rocking and rolling. And now, I mean, I'm going to throw some critters to clear some mines. Bombardiers doing all sorts of good stuff. Bullet, if I let Bullet die, this is going to be a train wreck of all train wrecks. And now that I've said that, I'd say chances of me letting Bullet die are about 100%. I don't know what it is, but anytime I say something, it's kind of like when you're snowboarding or skiing or biking and you look at it and you're like, I really don't want to hit that tree. What's the first thing you do? You hit the tree. It's just a given that anytime you look at something and you try and avoid it, you're going to hit it. So now that we've gotten rid of the Doom Cannons and the Hot Pots and the shields, I'm just going to cruise around the outside for a little bit. We're going to hit that shock mine, not a big concern at all, because shock mines do so little damage to max level troops, not a concern. My goal here is to get enough GBE for another, what am I trying to say, another energy drink. Whew. Brain shutting down, having some difficulties with words. My goodness. Just so you know, I do these videos first thing in the morning. I am not delaying releasing these videos because I want to. I am delaying these videos because I am asleep, and these videos come out as soon as I am able to. So I am in the worst possible time zone actually not the worst possible. I suppose being in Hawaii would be the worst possible, but I am in a bad time zone, to put it bluntly, for the War Factory, simply because they changed how time zones work in Boom Beach, and now I'm going to be seesawing all of our things, trying to keep our bombardiers alive, letting Bullet get out front, and now throwing a smoke right now would be an absolute waste of time because zmo's don't care about smoke, and now we're just going to cruise on forward, hoping that those zmo's are going to target Bullet, but they're not. So we are losing bombardiers incredibly quickly, and as a result, I don't think I'm going to solo this. So all bombardiers, probably not the right option. I saw someone did this using some Scorchers with some bombardiers. All bombardiers with Bullet, not the right option. I said we would be able to cut through it like butter, and it turns out we can, but not when you run out of gunboat energy, and not when you run out of gold either. So all bombardiers, the most expensive troop in the game, except for mechs and other, like, some proto troops and stuff like that. So that was good, but not great. So easy 2, but we weren't looking for 2. We were looking to get the solos. So I won't do another attack simply because we've already spent like 16 minutes of your time, and I try to keep these videos down below 20 minutes, and the fact that any other troop we're going to use is going to take in the neighborhood of 3-4 minutes to get an attack rocking and rolling. So we're just going to shock all of this stuff, and then maybe we'll just throw some critters back on there to give us a little bit of a time break. Bombardiers cruising in, destroying the shield without any issue. You could do something similar with low-level Grenadiers, trying to get these back shields, but not having Bullet means those Doom Cannons are going to be a pain. So do let me know which troops you used. Scorchers, always a good idea, even though there are some Doom Cannons there, especially since we now get 16 of them. 16 Scorchers is the answer for basically every question in Boom Beach at the moment. So do let me know if you use 16 Scorchers, because that is always a good way to go. But otherwise, I shall talk to you soon. Have a fantastic Thursday, or if I've reached you late in the day, have a great Friday. I shall talk to you soon. Thanks for coming in. I'm zmoT. Peace.